Hi, my loves. Welcome back to a new episode of Sexy and Healing with Yoli. And for those of you who don't know, I am an intuitive energy healer and I work with moms and I help them fall in love with themselves again through intuition, self love, self image, energy work, and embodiment. And if you've noticed, if you watch my videos, um, through YouTube on the camera. I have a new flower today. I usually have a rose, but today I'm using, I think it's a dahlia flower. And my son gave me an early Valentine's Day gift, and it was a bunch of dahlias. It was so cute. Um, so we're using one of those flowers today as our mic. Okay, so in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing my story on being sober for 3 years now. Yes, I've been sober from alcohol and weed for 3 years now. And it's it's been a roller coaster of a ride, but it's honestly like the best thing that I could have ever done, not only for myself, but for my son and as a mother. So let's get into it. So, a little bit of background, just so you guys understand my story on sobriety, because everyone's story is different and everyone's consumption of like drugs or alcohol, whatever, is different as well. So I never had like an actual drinking problem, but I would drink for fun. Like, why not, right? It was like a every weekend type of thing, sometimes during the week. I loved to go out dancing and partying. So obviously, like, what do? You drink and you smoke, right? Um, and it was just a part of my life. It was just what I would do, right? And why I decided to leave that behind was because it wasn't something that I was dependent on. I mean, to an extent, right? Like, sometimes consciously we don't think we're dependent on it, but unconsciously, like, we are based on our traumas growing up and like what we went through. And I remember with weed, there were times where I didn't notice this when I was actually like smoking weed. I noticed it after, I started healing and doing other things that I was like, why did I smoke weed? And I realized when I looked deep within and all of that, it was because so many times I didn't want to socialize. Like, I didn't want to socialize. I didn't want to be around people, but I also didn't want to feel like not cool. So I would smoke weed as an excuse to not have to socialize at parties, right? Like, now if I'm at a party, obviously if like everyone's cool, like I'll be super social butterfly. But if I'm like, then I'll like, like now I can like. But anyways, back then it was more so, okay, like I'm gonna be around people. I need to be on something. Like, I need to be on something. I can't be sober around a bunch of people. Like, I'm gonna freak out. So a lot of times I would smoke weed to make it an excuse to be like, oh, I can't have a conversation with you. Sorry, I'm too high. Let me just chill. Let me just enjoy and observe and just be here so I don't actually have to socialize. And I didn't realize that I was doing that until like recently. I started like looking back and I was like, oh, shoot, like I didn't really want to be around like large crowds of people. So in order to not feel like it was too much to be around large crowds of people, then I would just like be like and just be like, oh, sorry, I can't really like talk. I'm just too high over here enjoying my And then when it came to the drinking, it was just like an addition to like kind of numbing that even more, like numbing not wanting to be home. Because the last thing I wanted to do was be at home. Like, oh, I'll be outside, but at home was the last place I ever wanted to be. So it was like party, drink, this and that. So I don't even have to think about what's going on at home so that I can just like, like be too focused on the partying and that I'm too high and that I've been drinking and blah, 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 so that I don't have to worry about what was going on back home. So that was really why I would like drink or party. It was more so to just kind of be a part of like the party scene, which I'm sure we've all done, right? Especially like growing up and you were around that, like. And okay, let's fast forward to why I even made the decision to completely say no more weed, no more alcohol, right? Like I said before, it wasn't because I was dependent on them or like that. Like there were times where I would stop for a while, but then I would go back and da-da-da. But there came a point in my life where I realized that one of my biggest fears was to end up in a relationship with someone who had a drinking problem. That was like my biggest fear. I didn't care if you were a pothead, but if you drank alcohol, my anxiety would skyrocket, my fears, I didn't feel safe, I couldn't trust you. It was like, and this all came from growing up in a home where my father was an alcoholic. Now, mind you, my dad has been sober now for 10 plus years, okay? He got sober when I turned 18. 18 or 19. But before that, it was like, fuck. And I always said that I would never be in a relationship with someone who has a drinking problem because I didn't want to keep reliving the same shit that I lived my entire life. I didn't want to be in my mom's shoes. Like, I didn't want none of that. And lo and behold, they always say the thing that you least want is what you attract. And your girl attracted it in 2 relationships. 2. So, and this was a huge lesson for me, and something that, like, if you take anything from this, take this, is that we attract our biggest fears. Unconsciously, we attract them. If we know how the brain works, and this is what I use in my sessions. I use intuition, and then I also use neuroscience, which is like how the brain works. Our subconscious mind, which is the programming that we take on throughout all the years of our lives, pretty much runs the show, right? Our conscious mind, which is what we operate on, like what we're aware of, is like barely doing any work. But we think that we're like operating from here, but we're really operating from here. So if you're holding on to a fear from childhood, you're most likely going to recreate it. You're going to recreate it. Not consciously. You're not going to think like, oh yeah, like, yeah, I created this. No, you're going to be like, why the fuck do I keep creating these damn patterns? Right? Because unconsciously, your nervous system is creating those things because that's what it's used to. That's what feels normal. So that's what happened to me. Unconsciously, I was attracting relationships with men who had drinking problem, which was like the number one thing that I said I would never do. right? I was like, never, never in my life. But that fear is exactly what I was attracting to. It was what I was a magnet to. I was an energetic match for it because I hadn't done any prior healing on myself, and I was still holding on to that fear of, if a man drinks, then they're not safe. If a man drinks, then I have fucking anxiety. If a man drinks, then I can't trust them. If a man drinks, then I need to defend myself and I need to protect myself and I need to like put my damn masculine face on because I'm not gonna like, because I gotta like show them that I'm not scared. And because I was carrying all of that in my past relationships, that's exactly what I brought in. The same thing. And then again. And there was a point 3 years ago in February, where a situation went down in my last relationship and alcohol was involved. And I remember, I've shared this story before, but I'll share it again. I remember feeling the shittiest that I have ever felt. I felt so shitty. I was living in so much fear. My anxiety was through the fucking roof. I couldn't trust, that man, because it was, for me, it was like, for me, like a man who drank alcohol to the point to get drunk, to me, it was like, I can't trust you. I don't feel safe around you, blah, blah, blah. So that's where I was at. I couldn't trust. I was scared. I didn't feel safe. Horrible anxiety. It was like a shitty feeling. And I remember being in the shower, just crying and saying, okay, why the fuck do I keep attracting this type of relationship in my life? Like, why? Right? I was like, I don't get it. Like, it needs to stop. I'm tired of it. It got to a point where I hit like my breaking point. I hit my breaking point. I said, okay, do I love to drink alcohol? No, I don't love it. Do I do it because it's a part of life? Yeah. Everyone in my family drinks. If I go to parties, it's drinking. It's like what I'm used to. Like, but do I love it? No, it actually fucking scares me. Like, I have this like fear towards it, right? I'm healing that fear, obviously. But I was like, no, like I don't have this like, oh, I love to drink. No, actually, like I'm starting to fucking hate it, I'm starting to hate it, and I'm starting to realize that my relationships are pretty much being recreated, and I'm recreating my childhood. And I don't want that anymore, right? I was like, I don't want this anymore. Not for me and not for my son. As a mother, right? When you've hit a breaking point, it's like, do I want my child to live the experience that I lived? Do I want him to see that I'm going to put up with that shit? Do I want him to think that this is normal? Hell no. Because growing up, I didn't think it was normal. Growing up, I didn't fucking like it. So why would I put my child through that? And why am I continuing to put me through that? Like, I'm the adult now. I have the choice to heal that or to keep repeating it. Right? I have the choice to say enough is enough, or okay, I guess this is just how life is. No, that's not how life is. That's not. We have choices. We have the choice. We do. And I, right then and there, made the choice that never again I was not going to drink anymore or smoke weed because it didn't do anything for me either. I thought to myself, okay, what benefits is alcohol bringing to my life? None. None. How is alcohol helping me become a better person? It's not. And if you drink alcohol and it's like something you do, like, I'm not out here like judging you. You know, we all have a story, and this is my story, and this is why I chose to do it, but you do you. But if you're feeling called to be sober, like, you know, it's a journey, and I'm sharing mine for a reason. So it was like outweighing, you know, okay, if I continue to drink, what is it going to keep bringing to my life? Okay, well, if I drink, that means I'm going to attract the partner who also drinks. And then what does that mean? Then that means that I'm going to not feel safe around them. That means that my anxiety is going to go bonkers. That means there's going to be problems because I'm going to give them shit for drinking, and they're going to be like, well, you're tripping. And I'll be like, I'm not tripping. And you know what I mean? And I was like, okay. And then if I give up alcohol, what does that do for my life? Okay, well, I get to create a life that feels safer. I get to break the cycle. I get to break the cycle. And I get to actually heal my shit and not be dependent on something to numb, because I could have gone the route to just fucking numb everything that I was going through. But I said, fuck no, I know what that looks like. I saw it in my father, and I'm not doing it for me, right? So I remember also kind of thinking to myself, like, oh, well, maybe just a beer. Like, that should be fine. I think I'll be fine with just one beer, you know? It's like the little devil and the little angel. And like the little devil was like, well, just one beer won't hurt. One beer. And then the little angel was like, girl, do you want to keep repeating the same shit or not? Like, are you serious about this or are you not? And I was like, no. Like, I can't do, oh, just one beer, because then what does that mean? Then I'm dismissing the whole point of completely removing it from my life, right? Because then I'm accepting some of it. Like, yeah. So then what is that doing? That's telling me that I'll accept some shitty stuff, right? Because even in relationships, I said I didn't want to be with someone who had drinking problems, right? But what did I do? Oh, I made little excuses. Okay, fine. You only drink this much? Fine. Okay. Right? Instead of saying, no, we're not accepting it. And that's it. Like, I love myself too much to accept that shit. Right? So I had to do that with myself. Okay, how much do I fucking love myself to really go all through for me? Okay, well, if I say I really love myself, then I gotta fucking do it. And it's not even just one beer. And I had to think to myself, if my dad can be sober, then so the fuck can I. Like, I have no excuse, right? If he could do it after everything he's been through and all this shit and all da-da-da, then I most definitely can do it. And that's when that's it. I made that promise with myself, and I fucking kept it, and I'm gonna keep it, and that's where it all began. That's where it all went. I was committed to no longer accept what I was accepting before. And I had to let go of something that was just causing damage in my life since childhood. And that's what I had to do. And it's it's been it hasn't been an easy journey, and I want to share my journey with you guys because it wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna let it go and yay, go on with my life. Yay, I wake up the next day and I'm like, okay, what are we doing today? No, it was making that promise to myself, and then people leaving my life because I was on a journey to healing and to grow and to not continue to be stuck as the same person that I had been, and to not keep accepting what I no longer desire to accept. So I had to grieve people leaving my life. I had to grieve knowing that I was going to lose friendships. I had to grieve the old Yoli, the Yoli who only knew herself as a certain way. The Yoli who would be at the parties, la la la, give me the bottle, give everyone else a shot, I had to grieve her. That was fucking hard. It wasn't so much like detoxing the alcohol, because I was already not drinking as much, but it was grieving. It was grieving a life that I was so used to. And grieving like a version of me that I thought that was me. And having to re-find who I really was. Like who is Yoli if she's not like that fun party girl, right? Mind you, that fun party girl is still here. I'm still that fun party girl. But now I have found her sober. And before I didn't think she existed sober. Right? I had to face the how am I going to be at family parties? Like, are they going to accept me? Are they going to give me shit for it? Are they going to make me feel shitty? Am I going to feel like I just want to like crawl to the corner and like not be around anyone because everyone is drinking and I'm the only one sober? You know, it was like also sitting with all those fears of being sober in a society that doesn't praise that doesn't see that as something great, that sees that as like, oh, you're boring. Oh, you don't drink? Why? Oh, you know? And having to sit with those fears and release them and cry them out and detox emotions. And it was a journey. It was a journey. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, I woke up the next day and I was feeling great. Like, no, it was a journey. Because when we decide that we want more for ourselves, that we're no longer going to tolerate the same shit that we used to tolerate, that we no longer want to live in that fear and anxiety and think that it's okay to be in those type of relationships because that's love. That's not no. That's us creating those situations because that's what we're used to. Right? We're told like, "Oh, if you got to just put up with it." No, you don't. You don't have to just put up with it. If you choose to, do you? But we don't. And I'm going to tell you something. God always has a bigger purpose and plan for us. Always. And we will step into that bigger plan and purpose once we say, you know what? Enough is enough. Enough is fucking enough. I'm no longer going to accept what I no longer need to accept. I'm no longer going to keep doing the same shit just to be safe, just to have friendships, just to have people in my life, just to be accepted. I'm going to keep staying here. No. God's going to say, all right, cool. You want to keep doing that? Go ahead. But when you say, you know what? No, this is no longer what I desire to do. This is no longer who I am anymore. Then God's like, all right, let's start moving. Let's start moving. Let's get you to where you really desire to be. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Why? Because we have to deprogram so much of what we're so used to. So much of it. I remember in the beginning, I did not want to go to any family parties. I did not want to be around people at all. One, I was going through a breakup. Two, I was like, I'm sober. I can't even go to the club and like get drunk and like try to numb all this shit. I have to actually deal with it. Fuck. So it was like, I don't want to be around family. I don't want to be around people. Like, I'm going through a lot. Yeah, I'm going through a breakup, but guess what? I'm also grieving me. I'm grieving the Yoli that has been with me for like 30 years. And now I have to like deprogram all that. I have to tell her that like it's time. It's time for you to go over there because there's a new version stepping in. You know, it's a commitment to go 100,000% all in for you. And that was the commitment for me. And now I'm not saying like, oh, everyone needs to stop drinking alcohol. Like no, like if you drink and you choose to keep doing that, like do you, we all have a choice in our lives, but what I'm saying is that if it's to a point where it's causing you more damage and this and like right? Like you just know and you're like, fuck, like I've been tired of this. I've been done with this. Like, especially for you mamas out there, and I'm speaking from a mom of like knowing or like drinking and then being sober, and I'm like, damn, like all those times that I went out to party, to drink, like it was perfect because it taught me so much about myself. But I also sometimes think like, wow, like what if I would have invested that time into being sober and like enjoying life with my son when he was super little? You know what I mean? Which I did get to do, but also at the same time I was more so like, okay, what can I do this weekend? Like I need to go out, like who's ready to party, blah 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 blah, blah. You know? But then we're like, no, but I want to attract better into my life. But then while still like doing the same shit. Do you know what I mean? We don't attract what we want. We attract from our fears. And we attract from who we are, what actions we take, how we show up in the world. That's when you start attracting certain things into your life. You're either going to start attracting the same shit if you keep doing the same shit, or you're going to start attracting different when you start doing different. Let me see if I have anything else for you guys. Yeah, that's going to wrap up the episode for today. Thank you for listening. This is a story that not a lot of people know about me. I've been sharing it more. I've been open about it more. And I thank you for listening, for being open to listen. And I hope that it helps anyone out there who who needs to hear this message or this story. May it help you on your journey. And please let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what you think. If anything came up for you during this podcast, feel free to reach out to DM me. I would love to talk to you. And I hope you have an amazing, amazing, incredible rest of your day. I'm sending you so much love.